singles.
A new curriculum for schools in England will be published by the government later. Ministers say it will give pupils a stronger knowledge base.
Yes, right now our time is 18 minutes past 6, and that's the subject we'll pick up now. The new national curriculum is unveiled today. From September next year, 5-year-olds will start learning fractions and 9-year-olds will be taught up to the 12 times table.
Science will be taught in much greater depth to make way. Topics like caring for animals will be axed.
Yes, and there'll be a greater focus on British history. And design and technology students will have greater use of design equipment.
Well, joining us in the studio is Chris McGovern from the Campaign for Real Education. Good morning to you. And in South East London is Deputy Head Teacher Shaun Dellenty. Good morning to both of you. Shaun, to you first. I mean, you're not massively keen on these changes coming in, are you? Tell us why.
Well, I'm absolutely in favour of high aspiration and not putting ceilings on children's learning. That should be at the core of what we do as educators. But what worries me is this sort of one-size-fits-all approach. One of our key mottos at school is inclusion for all, and I'm worried that this new curriculum is actually exclusion for some. Because, you know, children are individuals, schools are individual communities, and certainly at our school, Alfred Salter Primary School, we've worked very hard over the last few years to shape a curriculum around the needs of the children and the local community, and in fact Ofsted thought it was very good. So to suddenly be told that we're going to have to throw that away and reshape it is a concern to us, yes.
Other people would say, Shaun, I think it's the sort of back-to-basics element of this, which is what many people see it as, is a good move. It's what's been missing in education.
Well, I think you have to look at the bigger picture and think about why there are some things missing in education. I've been teaching since 1995, and during that time there's been a barrage of new initiatives, instructions from the government, and not always backed up by concrete staff training. And I do think that some of the gaps that have appeared over the years are actually due to the constant barrage of initiatives rather than lack of knowledge from teachers or the curriculums that schools are using.
Yeah, let's put some of your points then to Chris. Good morning to you. I mean, you're largely in favour of what Michael Gove's bringing in, but there is a concern, isn't there? I mean, is 5 too young to be teaching how to program a computer?
It depends on the 5-year-olds. I've been in schools where 5-year-olds arrive and they can't speak. I've also been head teacher of a school where 5-year-olds will have no difficulty in coping. You know, I will tell you the secret to all this. It depends on the quality of the teachers. In the very successful countries where they have great education, like Finland, they choose from the top 10%. Here we choose from the bottom 20% of graduates.
If they're going to try and bring this in by September 2014, how much time does that give any school then to prepare the teachers more than the children, if you like?
It's high pressure, absolutely high pressure. I think Michael Gove's heart is in the right place. I'm not 100% in agreement with him. I think there are serious problems with the history which he's proposing, but on the whole, at the campaign, we think education in this country is on life support. We've got to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, they would argue, I suppose the teachers would argue that some of them will have to be retrained for things like the technology aspects of this and the computer aspects of this, will they not?
Yeah, it's vitally important, and the only thing that matters in education is not actually this curriculum at all, it's the quality of the teachers. You get good teachers, you're going to have a good education system. You can have the best education system, you can have the best curriculum in the world, but unless you've got good teachers, it's not going to work. So Michael Gove needs to focus more on the quality of the teachers and supporting and training the teachers.
We'll be speaking to him a little bit later in the programme, and also a representative of the NUT, so thanks very much indeed for being with us. Thank you to Shaun as well. I'm sure we'll be hearing from you a little bit later on.
21 minutes past 6 now. Parents are being encouraged to talk to children about the uncomfortable subject of sexual abuse.
Yes, in a new survey, half the parents of 5 to 17-year-olds admitted they'd never spoken to their sons or daughters about sexual abuse.
And of those who have, 43% said it was a difficult conversation. 83% of parents, 83% believe parents of 5 to 11-year-olds are responsible for talking to them about those risks. Well, the NSPCC is behind the campaign to support parents in doing that. We're joined by the Chief Executive. Good morning to you, Peter Walnes. We've just been talking about what 5-year-olds can take in, haven't we, in terms of education. This, again, is talking about very young children being spoken to, not about stranger danger, which is almost easier to talk about, but about people they know, about friends, family, uncles, whatever.
That's right. A lot of parents have seen in the media all these stories about the risks of sexual abuse, and they're saying to us, what can we do to protect our children from that risk. And it can be a very scary and difficult conversation to contemplate, as our survey shows. But actually, there are some very simple ways of helping children understand which parts of their body are private, how to look after themselves, and if they feel in danger, to talk to a trusted adult about it.
How do you start? What's the preamble for this conversation? How do you introduce this subject with a 5-year-old?
Well, we're promoting something called the underwear rule, which helps children understand that certain parts of the body covered by underwear are private and theirs alone. Their bodies are something that they should be proud of. This is about celebrating their body. But if they're touched at that part of the body and they feel uncomfortable about it, they should be confident about talking to a trusted adult about that. So many of these terrible stories that we see in the media these days are a consequence of children feeling uncertain or unsure about whether something proper has happened. So this is giving them confidence.
Is a child ever too young to have this conversation?
Well, this is something that only parents can decide. So we're absolutely not requiring any parent to do anything they feel uncomfortable about. But the materials which we're promoting and producing today are tried and are tested and have worked with children from the age of around about 5 to around about 11. But it's entirely up to the parent to decide when they think the right time
I was
is.
interested in what you said a little bit earlier about the Savile inquiry, because hideous, horrible as it was for the victims and all those involved in that. I mean, it has had the bonus, if you can call it that, of increasing awareness of this issue.
I understand your point, absolutely, and this really is an opportunity for the NSPCC and everyone else really to spend less time trying to explain to people the nature and the prevalence of this risk, and more time demonstrating that there are very simple ways in which we can help protect our children from this ever happening to them in the first place.
Got to leave it there, Tommy. Thank you very much, Steve, for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Now then, Abu Qatada has appeared in court in Jordan, charged with terrorism offences.
After 8 years and cost almost £2 million in legal costs, the radical preacher was finally deported yesterday after arriving at Amman airport in a private jet. He was charged with conspiracy to carry out terrorist attacks. He pleaded not guilty. Was